This is the Criterion Creeps podcast, and tonight we're talking about The Hidden Fortress from 1958, directed by Akira Kurosawa. Synopsis here from Letterboxd. Japanese peasants Madashishi and Tahi try and fail to make a profit from a tribal war. They find a man and woman whom they believe are simple tribe members hiding in a fortress. Although the peasants don't know that Rokuroto? Jesus.
Come on. Oh,
that is like,
God.
that's the worst name.
You're the worst name.
That's the
maybe in Japanese that's Jarrett, and then over people, our Japanese fans over there are listening. They're like, "Oh, what is this Jarrett name?" That's just the worst name.
Rokuroto. I dare you
Just get it right.
Give that name at Arby's, okay?
I'll give any name at Arby's.
Although the peasants don't know that Rokuroto is a general and Yuki is a princess, the peasants agree to accompany the pair to safety in return for gold. Along the way, the general must prove his expertise in battle while also hiding his identity. And that's it. So The Hidden Fortress. This was a rewatch for me. I watched this movie many years ago, though. It's probably one of the first Kurosawas I watched. This and Seven Samurai.
Doubtful.
My memory of this movie was always kind of I remember liking the opening scene for some reason. And I couldn't remember why. I was like, why do something about the opening of this movie is really good, and then the rest of the movie just kind of happens. That was my memory of it. So I popped this DVD in. I got another one of those Crazy Mike's video store closure snags I got for $4. So this is the first time watching that. It was all scratched up, but it played beautifully. There is a nice Blu-ray of it out there. I'm sure it looks a lot better than my DVD, but I think the movie looks still just fine here in standard def from 17 years ago.
You could have watched it on Canopy. That's how I watched it.
Yeah, I could have watched Monsieur's Holiday as well that way, but I did not.
Real chump, you know that?
So the first thing I went to, though, because this is not on Canopy, I'm sure, is a introduction to the film by one George Lucas. My biggest takeaway from his little snippet is that he says on the special feature for The Hidden Fortress that it is maybe his fourth favorite Kurosawa movie, which is
what?
Yeah.
Why bring it up at all?
Well, why is he talking about The Hidden Fortress at all? Well,
good question.
Well, good question. So somewhere along the line, RJ, this fucking movie became associated very strongly with Star Wars.
I have some opinions of that, but
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm sure you do. I'm glad you do. And there's some superficial stuff, I guess, there. And even George Lucas doesn't seem to be really talking about it very oh yeah, it's very clearly a homage. It's he doesn't even talk about it. It's just things oh, the peasants, I guess they're C-3PO and R2-D2. Oh, the general, he's kind of like Kenobi. Oh, there's a princess and there's a job to be done. That's about it. Okay.
Hey, can I talk about this now then?
Yeah, go for it.
I was an hour into this movie, and I was like, what the fuck are people talking about Star Wars? I was like, I don't see this at all. And then I watched the other hour and a half, and I was really trying to think about it. I was just this isn't very obvious to me. I don't think I'm a dumb guy. I was like, is the only reason people think that is because there's a general and a princess, and I guess two bumbling people?
Yep.
And then after I watched the movie, I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that is the only reason. It's I guess.
Well, no, see, for me, it really came obvious when it was oh yeah, this is that time when C-3PO and R2-D2 tried to rape the princess while she slept.
Yeah.
Do you remember that part? I remember that.
Isn't that a deleted scene?
Yeah, that's a New Hope. That's that's in the special edition. They had to because they had to cut it out initially. So.
Yeah, I think that's in the X-rated one. One of those clones, the Palestinian version of it or something like that. But I don't know. I get it a little bit. I was I guess you can make that connection, but it feels like Monday morning quarterbacking to me, where it's you're connecting things after the fact. It's whatever. I guess. Who cares?
Yeah. So we got that out of the way.
There you go. Done.
We blew it out of the water. Shut up.
I'll blow you out of the water.
So this movie's like real title, I guess, right off the bat is The Three Villains of the Hidden Fortress.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't like. I didn't really expect an answer, but it's just like, you know what I mean. What does that mean?
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
this movie opens up with like, again, like as soon as it started, I went, oh fuck, I love this. So it's this opening tracking shot of our two deplorables, the two peasants, scumbags who showed up late to a war. And they thought, then when they showed up on their own side at one, they thought, hey, these guys were fucking on the other side. They're losers. Make them bury the dead. So these guys smell like their enemies. They're all corpsey, and they're complaining about it. I always like find that like that's one thing that is often overlooked in movies is smell. Like, so it's that way in a lot of things. Like, usually on the written page, they do throw in smell as a descriptor because you're limited. And so with visuals, I think we often forget that there's a whole range of smelling things that you don't need to touch upon unless someone actually brings it up. So I was like, oh, cool. And they're complaining about how they smell like corpses and how bad one another stink. And they really go on about it, which I think is fantastic. But this shot is like so good. And like, I think a lot of people are in love with it because it's handheld and it's just this like empty plain of like, it might as well just be a desert in the middle of Japan somewhere. And they're just walking and talking and you're following them from behind over the shoulder like a video game. And this all builds to this like crazy reveal of this like fucking beat up savaged samurai with this crazed face as he's like fighting off like a bunch of like guys on horses who are just like mowing him down. And then he drops dead and the guys on the horses kind of look at these sad bastard peasants and they ride away. And so the guys are left to like pick the corpse of the samurai. One guy's like, "Whoa, hey, I don't want to get in trouble and like wind up in jail or something like that." And so he kind of heads off on his own, all C-3PO style.
That is in one of the movies. I think it was one of the new ones. That might be a Last Jedi thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's in all the movies, Jarrett.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, like that whole opening is honestly the best part of this movie. I'll just throw out there, like it's like really well done. Not to say that there's not like some pretty amazing moments in this movie. Overall, Hidden Fortress, as you kind of mentioned, this movie is like 2 hours 18 minutes or something like that.
Yes, it is.
And I feel like if this were a American Western, which this movie completely feels like an American Western, especially near the end when it really clicks and you're like, yeah, this is just like in a Western, but it's just an okay Western. So I think it's okay. It's okay to say this is a Kurosawa movie. But yeah, so they get captured. So anyway, this movie's like good. I don't dislike it. It's weird because like I'd say that I like it about the same as Seven Samurai, as I have controversially stated that like I find Seven Samurai is just like a good movie, not a great masterpiece. But I feel like this movie is like not as good as Seven Samurai, but I'd say that I probably feel about the same way about it. But I know it's not as good. There's just like there's amazing scenes. There's like after they get captured, there's all these like captured Japanese men all being forced to like dig for gold inside of a mountainside. And then they have like a uprising, all Spartacus style, and they're like all running down the stairs, and it feels very real. Like these men are just like running off the top of one another. There's no stuntmen. It's just guys being told, run down the steps, and then these guys are going to fire blanks at you, and you're going to fall over one another and do it. And like it seems like really tight and very claustrophobic, and like even though it's a huge wide open space and it's very epic feeling, but it feels like oh man, I don't
like that word,
epic feeling. Well, I'm not describing like watching a short film on YouTube is epic. I'm describing like this gigantic thing where it's like hundreds of men are running downstairs and being shot at in this grand scale and not CGI'd. I'd say that has that epic feeling to it.
Feel. Was it batshit crazy?
No, it wasn't.
How was the film craft though?
Artisanal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyways, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ribbing you. Epic's fine.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay.
So there was a lot of dudes on a hill.
A lot of dudes on the hill running down. Look, it's really nuts. Bad shit. And then the movie kind of gets going a little bit. The guys escape and they find some gold inside of branches that have kind of come down a creek. And
the crick, eh?
a crick, and
nice.
and then Toshiro Mifune shows up, and then the movie gets actually going to where it's supposed to be, which is like kind of like I'm still not exactly sure about the plot, even though it's like explicitly laid out. They have to like they can't go straight into the territory where they'd be safe. They have to go down through enemy territory over into not someone else's territory to get through to where they need to be. That's the gist of it, and it's just like I don't know. I feel like the geography is kind of odd, but I'm not from Japan. It just seems like a place where this movie's taking place.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's not Arizona. It's not Texas, Oklahoma. It's just like it's these names of places that those aren't even the names of those places anymore. They've changed. These feudal system things aren't around any longer. So it's just kind of like, okay, whatever. You don't need to know the ins and outs, the political intrigue. That would be very boring. This is an adventure movie.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I'll hand it off to you. Like I said, I think this movie's good, decent. I don't love it or anything like that. Yeah, it feels a little long. It feels a little listless.
Yes.
I think I was getting back to my point of like, this movie would be probably like really the same at 90 minutes. And you'd get every single plot beat over in the same way if it were an American Western, I guess. But it's a Japanese Kurosawa movie, so it's got to go deep and long and girthy.
Stop it.
Yeah. Anyways, RJ, what did you think of this Hidden Fortress? Had you seen it before?
I had not. This was a new one for me. I have seen many of this Kurosawa guy's films, especially now in The Creep. I think, what is this, our third or fourth? Fourth?
Well, this will be our fifth.
Fifth? Okay. So yeah, 5 so far, and then I've seen a few on top of that, which will be future Creeps as well. So people remember episode 2. You didn't like Seven Samurai. You're crazy. That movie is super good. It's epic. It's got film craft. It's artisanal. I think that movie is super amazing. Hidden Fortress? So anyways, my point of bringing that up was I'm a fan of this Kurosawa guy. I think he makes good stuff.
You like that High and Low?
High and Low was very good.
Yeah, High and Low, the Yojimbo Sanjuro.
Those were good as well, yeah. So that stuff was real good. Here at Creepsville, we are also big fans of Toshiro Mifune. That dude is mad cool in real life, and he's mad cool in this movie as well, which I like. So I'd never seen Hidden Fortress. I thought it was really good. I also don't think it's not a blow your dick off movie or anything like that. But I really liked it, and I watched this like 3 days ago. I kind of forgot parts of it, but looking over my notes, I was like, oh yeah, I did like this movie. So I guess the reason I say that is like, yeah, it's not his best thing, or it's not his best movie by any means, but it's pretty good. It's worth a watch if you want to watch something like that. I think the thing that stands out with this one more than his other ones is I think this one's really playful, and more so, like, all his movies have like humor and like playful bits in them and stuff like that. But I think on a whole, this one is more playful, and I guess it's mostly because you're focusing on these two like greasy dudes, and they're always kind of into stuff. But even like Toshiro Mifune, he's kind of like playing around, having a laugh, like doing this and that. So I think that sets it aside from other Kurosawas that we've watched so far. It's it's a little lighter.
Sanjuro and Yojimbo are pretty breezy too. I mean, they have like some serious turns, but for the most part, they're pretty like, I don't know. I never really take those movies super seriously. I don't think they do either.
No, yeah, I know. That was just one thing that I thought, but I think this movie also has like some of those classic Kurosawa things. Like, there are certain shots in this that just look awesome. Like, a lot of the fog shots were just dudes walking through fog. I don't know why. I think those things just look so cool. I love that fog, man. Not that fog movie. That movie's okay. I just like that fog in this movie. It also, you see some nice film craft in this, Jarrett. I like the scenes where
I don't like what I've done here.
yeah, I know. I'm gonna keep dropping it for anyone. If anyone is like weirded out by this, any of those YouTube listeners, maybe check out our full reviews to hear our full episodes to hear what Jarrett did and why I use filmcraft now as my main word. So, anyways, there's some good filmcraft, Jarrett. I like the scene when they're like on that hill and it's just like the three of them and they're getting shot at by the coming up armies and stuff like that. And they keep running and then they duck and then you can see it like it changes a little bit and then they shoot real bullets at it and then it changes back and they get up and run. Like that's nothing like special. That's a movie trick for 100 years since they've been filming movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was cool. I thought they did it. Like I thought it looked good. What else was there? I think this movie actually has some cool fake outs. Like there's scenes where it's like, we're going to do this. And then it goes the other way. And I was like, oh, nice. Like there's the one where they think that they're on the homeland. They're like, there it is. We're finally there. And then like all the art or all the like enemy flags pop up over the hill. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit. That's pretty rad.
It's a visual gag. Yeah.
It's a visual gag. Yeah. So I liked it. I thought that was cool. It has.
I can really imagine Chris Pratt going, "Hoo boy," and then playing his mixtape.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe it's in that Magnificent Seven remake.
Yeah.
See, it all comes back. It all circles back what we talk about. But I thought that was cool. Like I said, the shots there were some really nice ones, like the fog. There was another nice one where it's like horses when they let all the horses out and they're running through that like little archway. I was like, that's really nice. That reminds me of some of them old westerns, like you said.
Yeah, I think that's like when it became very like, oh, this is a western, yeah. And like then I started thinking backwards and being like, yeah, this whole movie is a western.
Yeah, absolutely. Ask John Ford where the horizon is. I bet Kurosawa could tell you.
I mean, you just change things up and say it's like, I don't know, Union soldiers being caught behind Confederate lines, or vice versa.
Well, so and that's the last thing I was gonna say. Like overall too is I think this movie has a lot of different genres in it, or not even genres, just a lot of different kind of angles to it. It's got that humor aspect. It's an adventure pick, like you said. It's heroes on the road and kind of heroes on the run type of thing, which I think especially in like anime, that seems to be like a major thing that they stick on is like especially for like samurai movies, I guess, is like dudes on the run or on the road. So there's like that kind of stuff. And the thing, what I was thinking about this movie way more than Star Wars, I was like, this reminds me of Indiana Jones, like more so than any Star Wars movies. Just like the way that they kind of get into circumstances and there's like funny coincidences and there's like gags that get them out of it. Like this, Alec Guinness. Yeah. He's way more like Indiana Jones than he is Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought, at least. I don't know. That's my bold statement. I'm gonna lay it out there for you, buddy. That's my hot take. This movie's more like Indiana Jones than it is like Star Wars.
I can hear that sizzle.
You hear the sizzle on that steak? But I don't know. There's like individual stuff that I thought was cool too, but I don't know. It's also really cute. Like I really like that moment at the end when the two guys are like fighting a bunch, but then they lose everything, and they're like, "Let's stay friends." And he's like, "Okay, we will." And that's a direct quote. It's just like, "Why don't we stay friends?" And I was like, "That's really sweet. That warms me up inside." So. I don't know. I liked Hidden Fortress. I'm with you. I think not as much, to a lesser degree. I don't think it's amazing, but I liked it quite a bit. I thought it was nice. I like Kurosawa. It's a cool dude.
Do you dig that princess's waist-high shorts?
The shorts were okay. I was always distracted when she's on screen though, because she's always yelling, and she always goes ee! Ee! And I was like, oh, as annoying as that was for people listening to this, that's how I thought it was in the movie, because she's always saying ee! And like yelling real loud. I was like, why is this lady talking so loud?
Maybe that's why they made her a mute for so much of it.
I was actually pretty happy when that happened. I was like, nice.
Yeah.
Maybe she won't be so loud anymore.
Wow. All right, Mr. Misogynist here.
It's not that she was a woman. Watch this movie.
Okay.
She's talking very loud. Just watch it. Just watch it.
Okay, RJ.
Oh.
So there's the one line that like I had to write down here where it's a real burial of the working class of where it's like sometimes even moss can be smart. Just talking about peasants, how even they could have good ideas every once in a while, because sometimes even bacteria and vegetation could be smart. Poor people, scum of the earth.
I agree.
And that's like I guess Seven Samurai is kind of like it has it both ways. It shows like the spirit of like poor people being able to fight alongside their betters. And here there's no good coming. I guess that's not true. There's like the one girl who's like very loyal and fighting, has like the great fighting spirit. She kind of redeems the working man in this. But yeah, those are two protagonists, or villains, I guess is the title might have us believe them to be. So here's a weird thing. So this movie's called The Hidden Fortress. Yeah. And like half of it takes place there, and then they're not there. Do you think this is a good title for this movie?
Well, what did you say that the other title was? Three Villains?
The Three Villains of the Hidden Fortress. That's like on the intercard that I have on the DVD, it has in parentheses the Three Villains of, like, and then the Hidden Fortress.
They could call this the Temple of Doom.
They could call it the Death Star.
They could call it the Death Star, invading the Death Star's Temple of Doom. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought, like, it's fine. I mean, there's worse titles.
I suppose. I just like always like wonder that title. I mean,
let me look through here.
It's no Guns of Navarone. It's Where Eagles Dare is a great title, and it's about going into an invincible, impenetrable fortress. This movie's just called The Hidden Fortress, and it's just like, I guess they're hanging out there. It's interesting.
You know what's the worst title?
What?
The Element of Crime.
But that's actually, but that actually is content within the movie, regardless of the quality of the movie.
You know what's a worse title? Monsieur Hulot's Holiday.
But that's about a guy's holiday.
You know what's a worse title? Variety Lights.
Yeah, that's also like, at least, I mean, I don't know what that means, but I think it has something to do with the show business.
You know what's a worse title? Chasing Amy.
You gotta say it like Kevin Smith would.
You're chasing Amy, man.
There you go.
Is that how he talks?
Yeah, seamless. I thought Kevin was here. I thought I was on the Smodcast.
You were on Smodcast? Yeah. Well, apparently he claims he's one of the first ever inventors of podcasts, so whatever.
He's definitely he definitely popularized it. Like, I would 100% give it to him for that. Anyway, movies. Title notwithstanding, at least there is a fortress that's hidden in the movie, The Hidden Fortress. I just don't know if it's like means much more beyond a description. Seven Samurai. There are seven samurai. high and low. There's like some metaphor to it. I just don't know about this title. It bothers me. The Fire Festival stuff is all really good. The whole idea of like, they're like, how the hell are we going to get out of this predicament we're in, where everyone's looking for us? Hey, there happens to be this giant like wagon line of fucking people hauling wood up a hill, just as here we are with our golden side of wood. I mean, in a lesser film, by a lesser director, people would shit all day long on that, but here we are, and it's all fine. And you get to get the whole climax, and it's like, I already knew, I'm like, oh, they're gonna wind up having to burn their wood with the gold in it, and sure enough, that happens. But it's all a good sequence, and then you get to, like, it keeps getting kind of built up from there with the chase with the two like guard types that stumble across our two peasant fellows digging through the fire pit, digging up gold pieces. They're being restrained, and then you get like the weird kind of like clocking sound of the like. The police, the security forces, the army working their way through the woods, and then they start firing their guns, and you get that whole big standoff in the woods. It's definitely the best executed action scene, I think, in the movie. I was going to say that the one that I was really kind of like disappointed by like, and I wasn't expecting it, was the whole bit where they're on the road and they get stopped by like the 4 guys on horse back, and they're like, oh, we're looking for 4 people and a girl with horses, and then they ride off and they go, haha, we got away with it. Huh, why didn't they even check our wood? And then they realize that they're coming back, and then at that point Mifune just like kills 2 of them immediately, and then you get the horse chase, which is just like the audacious, like, showing the same footage of him passing the same tree 3 times, but the editing is intense, and it's just
can I tell you something?
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
but it's like, it's so like Chauncey, you know? I mean, if this wasn't like, if this was a lesser director, but people would be like, oh, come on, like they Roger Corman, meh, and like they like who shitmeisters do this, and here we go, we have Kurosawa doing it, and here we'll go, oh wow, what does that tell you about
Filmcraft?
About time. What are the themes of time here being used? Because he would never make this mistake. It's like, no, it's just fucking movies, and they thought it was like, it worked okay. They thought it was cool, whatever. But it's like but it builds to like that awesome bit where he chases down, he kills 2 guys, and then he winds up back at the camp, the enemy camp, and you get the spear fight, and I thought that it wasn't very well done. I guess, but we live in 2018, and we have now seen like amazing choreographed fight scenes, and this is 1958, and I don't know if like Kurosawa is renowned for his like fight choreography at any point as these films go on, even though he's these samurai movies. It's like the movies, like all the stuff is shot like 10 foot high, and it's kind of looking down on the action because they're shooting through like fabric and stuff like that, but it's shot in this way, it's like so unexciting, and like I was just like, I remember being like, oh, this could be so much better. And like in 2018, if like Takashi Miike was filming this would be exciting. Or like a lot of other like directors, it's like this would be like a really like, oh shit, what's going to happen? And this is kind of like, oh, Mifune's going to win. And it's just like, and it's not even like an exciting fight scene. So I don't know. Is it hearsay to say that Kurosawa really blew it here? He's not an action director, which is like Seven Samurais. I don't know.
I think you just have a problem with Akira Kurosawa, is what it seems like.
What I'm saying, RJ...
what my imaginary problem with Fellini is? That's your problem with Kurosawa.
No, what I'm saying is that emperor has no clothes. Boom. You heard it here first. Yeah, that's right. No, he's fine. I just like, these are things that I'm like, this isn't as good as it could be.
Well, yeah, a bit. But also, have you ever seen The Emperor's New Groove?
I have not.
That's a good movie.
Nice.
Just since you brought it up. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think it's anywhere near the top for what we've watched so far, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I thought that scene with Toshiro Mifune on the horse holding a sword was really cool. I didn't care that they showed it like 4 times. I still thought it was nice.
Over and over and over again as he's rounding around the same tree to build up anticipation of him catching him. That's the whole idea behind it, right? It's just, it's interesting. No one talks about, I mean, people will talk about it. Because there's people who hate this movie, RJ. Let me tell you what. Before we get to that, though, I just want to mention, it's like, just last week I was talking about the presence of rape in these Japanese movies I was watching.
Oh, what now?
And here we get some light humor teases of rape because peasants get bored and see some princess leg, and it's just like, oh, and you were just talking about Belladonna's sadness and rape and rape and rape and rape and rape.
We say it every week, and it just seems more and more the point. But it's like, I think the Criterion's main goal was to show that Japanese and Italian people are rapists.
Well, no, Italians fuck up. No. See, Italians fuck up everything.
But they're also raping pretty good.
No, they didn't. They're what? Not in. There's no rape battles in.
The Italian
Rafifi.
Characters are always the guys who are like, "Hey, baby, come over here and sit on this D." So it's not actual rape; it's just suggestive rape, I guess.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at? That's real.
Yeah, it's real. Okay.
Salo.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that movie's just a whole different. That's a whole other ball game. But RJ,
what?
Who hates The Hidden Fortress?
I don't know. I'm sure some people lay it on me.
John M. 1.5 star. I'll be honest. I found the politics of this film to be downright intolerable.
No, shut up.
It masquerades as an indictment of greed, while and actually serving as a reification of the hegemony of capitalism, ensuring the separation of the workers from their means whilst preserving the authority of the few. At one point in the film, our female quote-unquote heroine buys the contract of a slave with the pretense that she is setting the slave quote-unquote free, while in reality simply converting the slave into another pack mule on her journey to reclaim her throne. As another character in the film so aptly puts it, the politics of the film quote-unquote act kind, but are ultimately cruel. Deeply irresponsible filmmaking.
Shut up. What a fucking ass. The politics of this film. You know what else I have with the politics of this film? This person's 5-star movies are mostly garbage, but they include Resident Evil Retribution, about 800 movies I've never heard of, La Ventura, which is just all piles of just fucking shit. I don't know. This person's entire letterbox is about basically movies that it's like, oh, you've never heard of that? That's too bad. I thought you liked movies.
Mike Cavalier, 2 stars. Grading is hardly even the word to describe how I found the quote-unquote comedy from frickin' Frack here after enduring it for 2 hours. Their constant yelling, their bickering, the hijink-style music Kurosawa plays whenever they get physical. Man, none of it worked for me. And even though I'd see flashes through the rest of the movie, moments that invite me to get on board, the early set pieces with all those extras, the opening scene filmed on Steadicam, I couldn't quite get over that frustration, not only from the peasant humor that wore on me, but also from the stiff assault of performance from the princess, the time we spend looking at sand maps and being told exposition, the repetitive gold greed reminders. I'll throw that one out there. That's probably like an hour of that runtime that could be not there. And even that unbelievable final exchange, no, you take the gold. That growth seems completely tacked on, while other characters never really change at all. Hate to say it, but I was happy when the credits rolled.
Is that like supposed to be like cool? To be like, I liked when the credits rolled, baby.
That's when you take your sunglasses from the tip of your nose and put them back squarely in front of your eyes. And you're, yeah!
Don't do that again on the show, please. I got news for you. This Mike Cavalieri is a horror fan. They actually have a lot of the same opinions that we do.
Okay.
However, they gave The Babadook 5 stars. And they also gave Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge 3 stars, which I find ludicrous. So this person isn't the authority on movies. Ever.
Wow, we just exposed you, Mike.
Yeah, Mike. Wreck isn't a 5-star movie. Get over yourself.
Luke Compton, our final hate. 2 stars. Not my kind of movie. Just dull, unfunny, and really not entertaining for myself. The characters were very unlikable, and I found myself unable to care about them. I loved the duel. That part was excellent and really stood out as the highlight of the film. However, this awesome fight wasn't enough to make me like the film. To think this inspired Star Wars.
Is that their whole review?
That's it.
Do you want to hear their 4.5-star review for the Star Wars The Force Awakens?
Sure.
It's here. It's finally here. After all this time, there has been an awakening. There's a lot to say about this film, and obviously at this stage I can't say too much. And then it goes on for about at least 1,000 to 2,000 more words. I'm not going to read the rest because you're lame, Luke Compton. You're a basic bitch. You're basic.
Wow.
Anyways.
Strong, but fair.
Yeah, they have some okay movies. They got Predestination in their 5 stars. That movie's not very good. And and Avengers. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Oh dear, 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 dear.
This is gonna be my new thing. Is when you're naming these low reviews, I'm gonna check out their pages, and
Well, you've been doing that. That's how we're
I
going.
have
That's
been. But
how we're going to kick off episode 111, 101.
Jesus, what do you mean?
Well, by this will be the addition to this gimmick.
That's our new mainstay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't always do it. Sometimes I get distracted by farts and butts and stuff, but whatever.
Yeah, that's you being you. Any other thoughts about this fortress? This
Not really.
exposed fortress.
Oh, I was gonna say that seance scene is so awesome because it's like every pop song from the last 40 years, the lines that they're saying is like stuff from that. I thought it's pretty cool. Anyways, no, this movie's I liked it. It's good. It's worth a watch. It ain't no Star Wars. It ain't no Indiana Jones.
It's its own.
I don't know why
thing.
anyone would care about that anyways, but
hey, how about that Toho scope? It's so
yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's so wide.
Pretty cool, my man.
Would you agree though if David Ehrenstein, who wrote the little booklet, the little essay that came with this movie, one of the greatest action adventure films ever made, and a fast-paced, witty, and visually stunning samurai film?
Well, not wholly.
No.
With parts of that, maybe, but
oh shit.
what now?
I just noticed who wrote the writing for the Criterion Collection in 2001. Armand White said, "The Hidden Fortress holds a place in cinema history comparable to John Ford's Stagecoach. It lays out the plot and character of an on-the-road epic of self-discovery and heroic action. In a now familiar fashion, Rokuroto and Princess Yoki fight their way to Allied territory, accompanied by a scheming, greedy comic duo who get surprised by their own good fortune. Kurosawa always balances valor and greed, seriousness and humor, while depicting the misfortunes of war." So, you know Armand White is, right?
No.
Oh my god.
Who is Armand White?
He's like the legendary the troll of Rotten Tomatoes. Some people would paint him. He is the contrarian.
Oh.
He's like the professional contrarian who like is there to like be like, "Hey, Toy Story 3, you're not 100% anymore on Rotten Tomatoes," and people get mad at him. He's
I got you.
He's good. He's the professional Rickroller.
Ooh,
Some might say that about him. He sometimes.
Some people say that maybe he's the Jarrett of the movie review world.
Maybe, but here he is loving that Hidden Fortress. Maybe because he thinks that like Hidden Fortress is the superior film to Seven Samurai. I'm sure that's his end game. But George Lucas says it's like maybe fourth. After the break,
yeah,
I don't know. RJ and I are gonna be poor, and I'm taking the gold, no question.